I've realized that life is 30% events and 70% how you handle them.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurship Decoded. I'm so excited for you guys to meet Ryan today. He is a membership mastery expert, so I'll let him kind of explain that a little bit more, but I'm so excited for you guys to meet with him today. So Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for having me. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn more about you and share your story. So let's dive right in. I would love to know more about you. Who were you before you, turned down the path to your membership mastery and just kind of became the person you are today? So what's your backstory?
Wow, great question. So I have always been entrepreneurial, even right at an early age as a kid. And I never really realized until probably the last few years, Steve Jobs says it's only by looking back can we connect the dots. And as I get older and older, I realize certain things happened and I am the way I am because of certain things. But I was a kid and I was selling sweets and I was charging more for the sweets I was buying. I was good at football or soccer for the listeners from the States. And I lived in an estate with a lot of kids. So I used to charge the kids to come and learn to play football better from me. And just lots of different things like that. And then that continued and continued and continued throughout my life. And I just kept buying and selling things, turning a profit. And I realized if I wanted to get something, if I wanted to buy a new PlayStation game or something, I could earn the money for doing that via loads and loads of different things. And then I went away to university. I studied physiotherapy and I was selling makeup when I was at university, which is proper crazy. A young guy selling makeup. All my mates took the mick out of me. They were all like, what are you doing? You're selling makeup, until they kept seeing me on campus with like 20 girls queuing up to talk to me. And they were like, you're a genius. I'm like, no, I genuinely don't see it like that. This is a business. It's really professional. And then from there, it just got more and more and more. And I got more sophisticated with my business. I realized the power of learning more about marketing, about digital marketing, about myself, about systems, about all these different kind of things. And then that led me on to being a trader on Betfair. That led me on to building membership websites. That led me on to developing property. That led me on to investing. That led me on to then where I am today with the membership mastery.
That's really interesting. That's really curious that you, throughout your whole life, like you said, when you were young, you were selling sweets and you just had that spirit and just the entrepreneurship drive within you. That's really interesting. I kind of did the same thing when I was younger. I tried to sell rocks to different kids, like when I was like 3 years old. So I kind of had that journey a little bit. I kind of like it. As you get older, you start to upgrade in what you sell. But yeah, I think a lot of entrepreneurs who were just really into it, they started at a young age, and it's really interesting to hear your story, how you kind of just developed, you sold makeup, you hustled. So that's really, really inspiring to just hear about. So what were kind of the biggest things that you learned through different challenges and obstacles that you went through as the past couple of years or, through your whole entrepreneurship journey?
Well, that's a good question. I think the big thing is that I've never ever felt I couldn't do anything. Like I've just always had this internal belief that I can do anything. And that has just been the biggest, looking back, that has been the best thing for me ever, because I just decide I'm going to do it and I do it. And yeah, it's not perfect, but then I learn from that and I evolve. And every single week, even now, every single week, I'm getting better and better and better. And for me, it's just that strive of like 1%. Can I get 1% better? Can I get 1% better? What can I get 1% better in? And then over a year, that just compounds into massive, massive improvements. So I think that's been one of my big learnings, that it doesn't matter where you're at now. If you can just get 1% better, every single person can get 1% better at something, then you just move the needle all the time, like that, all the time. You're just moving towards where you want to be. That, and then people are just the biggest and best thing in the world ever. You are always one step away from somebody that can help you, to introduce you to somebody. And when you just have a go and then you realize people are what make this world, they're my biggest learnings.
That's so amazing. I love your energy. I'm really just feeding off of it. And it's a lot of people have interviewed so far. They a lot of them are either they had that struggle that led them to their journey, and just seeing you and how passionate you are and how just self-driven you are, it's really inspiring. And I hope people can just take that and, run with it. So it's amazing. Like, it kind of just takes away some of my questions, I guess, because it's like you've always had that driven motivational thing internally. Was there any like external motivational factors that led you to keep going?
Gosh. Well, I'm like, this energy is like this all the time. Like, I wake up like this, which is just a nightmare for everybody around me. Because my life is like the greatest show, really. I'm like that all the time. I've got that much energy. The external motivators are just that once I get started with something, I can see the benefit that it's giving other people, and that keeps driving me. And I think going back, probably when I started out on this, getting a little bit more professional and started to see the results in which I was giving people, that was probably the big learning for me. And that was the big external motivator, to see that actually I am helping people. People are enjoying my product. They're interacting with me. And that gives me a really nice feeling. And then I know that that is the benefit. Right, the monetary benefit is totally irrelevant, really. It's the benefit to help people. So that external motivation is always there. And because I got that quite early on, that just keeps feeding me and feeding me and feeding me. And the more of that I get, the better. I have two praise folders. So I have a praise folder on Google. So if I see something on social media where somebody said they've worked with me and it's great, I take a screenshot of it and save it in a praise folder. And if they do it anywhere else, I do. And then also in my inbox, I have a praise folder. So I put all the good emails in there. And that is just amazing for external motivation. If you are struggling, even if you just got one good comment, it will give you so much energy and motivation that, imagine me with even more energy after reading that. It's a sight to behold. But I think it's just the external motivation of helping people and seeing them get their results that's just so inspiring.
That's amazing. I love that. I think that's some advice people should take. Focus on the positive things and the really, just like you said, happy comments or just really positive feedback that you get. Like, focus on the stuff that you get to like negatively, or just the things that can help you improve, like little failures you do. But focusing on the positive, like you said, it really gives you that external motivation. That's amazing. That's probably some of the best advice I've gotten personally, but I really love that. So throughout the past couple of months, we've all, either been staying home. I don't know how, where you are, I don't know the situation there. So like, I don't know, maybe if you could explain that, and then how it's affected you, your business, and how you interact with people.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun here. We went into lockdown in March, and it just sort of it just came out of nowhere. It was like we was hearing about the coronavirus, we was hearing about it, and then people were just like, nah, that'll just go. And then it was like, oh no, actually we are locking down. And I have two businesses. So I have the membership mastery, and I also have a membership business that is a software as a service. And that's based all around sport. I provide a stats engine for people to trade on Betfair, which you guys don't have in the US yet. And I need the sport for that business to make any money. So the sport literally stopped, and it was like, oh, so I can't help people get better at trading. I can't give them stats for their sport. Wow. And I was about to launch a course in March as well. So it was a very fun time. So I basically pulled my team together and was like, right, guys, let's brainstorm. How are we gonna tackle this? Because I genuinely think in any situation, there's always going to be winners and losers, and the ones that seem to group together and find a way through it and find a solution to the problem, and the ones that are going to do better. And that's what we did. We just got together as a team and brainstormed, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? and we actually sold more courses than we ever thought possible, which was really cool. And then it gave us that time to, because there was no sport on as well, we pivoted away from giving members just advice on sport, and we gave them advice on trading and their issues. And now we fast forward, the sport's coming back and they're starting to trade more. We have more profitable members. We have more profitable traders. It's like, oh, wow. So that actually is a really big thing that we need to keep going with the members. And then sort of on the membership mastery side, that just got even busier because people was just like, I need to get online quick. And it's like, yeah, okay, it's not just going to happen overnight, but let's put a plan and let's build. So yeah, we just really got together as a team and worked on how are we going to adapt to this new world. And a lot of my team are based all over the world anyway. So that's great. And we've really got a great working relationship, and we use Slack all the time anyway. I'm getting pretty much to the point where Zoom is the norm for me now. All of my meetings are in Zoom, and it's fine. It really is. The big thing I miss is my co-working space. I had a really cool set of people in there to bounce ideas off. But then the thing is, we've gone onto Zoom and we've started chatting on Zoom. So yeah, nothing's really changed massively. We're very agile, and I think that's key to business anyway, to not be rigid and to be agile and have a direction in which you're going to and towards, but not be rigid about the route that you're going to take, because it might all change as it did.
That's awesome. I love how you said that you have people, a team and community. I've talked to other people and they said that's like the vital thing that they have, where if you build a team, build a community to work off of, or just, have that positive, just awesome atmosphere, then it's unlimited possibilities that can happen. So I love to hear how you said you have people all over the world that's in your team. How did you build this team or be a part of this, great environment that you're able to just pretty much pivot your business and still find success through everything that's been happening?
You are firing some cracking questions here now. Love it. So the team's always been a big thing for me. I stepped into my father's business when he was ill, and he already had a team. So I learned a lot about teams then and how not to talk to people. And I made every single mistake in the book at that point. I mean, I was 21. These were all in their 40s and 50s. And I came in and changed too many things and learned a lot. But so that was a big learning for me. But it comes down to two things, really. And the first one was, I read a book called Traction by Gino Wickman, which I love, and it changed my world. And it's one of the books that made me the person I am. And it goes into your core values as a business and as a group and as you individual. And then it enables you to hire people based on those core values. And that has been the game changer for me, because some of them are non-negotiable. So when I'm hiring for people or looking for people in a team, and I'll cover how I get to knowing what role I need and how I need them, but it just tells you this is non-negotiable, this is non-negotiable, this is non-negotiable. So it's probably no surprise for people listening that one of my core values is fun. I've got to have fun in business, because otherwise what's the point? Let's go get a corporate job and be bored. But fun is a big thing for me. So when I'm chatting and interviewing people, I've got to have fun. So for example, I'd hire you in a flash because you're fun. So that's a big thing for me. And then it's working collaboratively as well. So I want people in the team that want to get better, they want to learn. And we even have that in the Traction does a meeting flow, and we follow that every single week. We have a meeting and we follow the flow. And as the rocks of the quarter, we invest in the team. So I will say to the members of the team, so say you're in my team and you was in the sales and marketing department, I'd say, what book do you want to read this quarter that's based around sales and marketing? And you'd say, whatever book. I'd buy that book. And then every single week we'd say, what are you learning from that book? So we get the team sharing the information around in the call as well, which is just amazing. And turns out that we all have read way more than one book. So that's sort of how I pick the team, and then how I manage them is through Asana and these weekly meetings, and we all follow the traction framework. And then how I decide a role or what I need for that team. So if someone is starting out right now and they're just like, they're a solopreneur and they're just like, right, I'm getting to a point where I don't know if I can carry on doing this anymore, I need somebody in my team. Just get a piece of paper, and then at the one piece, write daily, then write weekly, then write monthly. I want you to start writing down everything you're doing on a daily basis, just everything you're doing weekly and everything you're doing monthly, and then start to put them into departments. So cash flow or paying bills or those kind of things. Then you can start going, right, that's accounts, sales and marketing, operations, etc. And then you can start to just go, okay, well, that's taking me 5 minutes a day. I could probably get somebody in 5 minutes a day to just do that for me, post on Facebook, whatever it may be. And as well, that's a really good thing for people to do because they don't like giving away control. So if you pick something, that doesn't matter if that person categorically messes it up, it's going to make no impact on your business, then give them that task. And that's how then I started building the team, because I started looking at what I was doing daily, what I was doing weekly, what I was doing monthly, and where I should sit in the business and where gets the biggest impact of my time. And that is doing podcasts like this and talking to other people, doing presentations and producing content. So then I started to get rid of the other tasks and outsource them to people that were better than me at doing them. And then guess what? The business made more money. Everybody was happier, including me. So that's what I do.
That's awesome. I'm still kind of the solo entrepreneur, so I'm trying to outsource and try to figure out what I can do and try to build a team. So that was really great advice specifically for me, but I think other people who like either if they just started entrepreneurship recently at some time and just, you know, using like a book like Traction or trying to figure out advice as they go to do that, to outsource and just build an actual team. So that was just great advice. I love that. So you kind of talked about a little bit before, but what exactly do you do with your membership mastery and then your membership trading? I wasn't sure what you did that, but I'd love for you to explain that more in detail.
Yeah, cool. So we'll take the trading one first. So I own a company called betfairtradingcommunity.com, and we have a website in Europe and the rest of the world, bar America, because you guys aren't allowed to gamble online. And it's a betting exchange. So it matches people up that want to bet effectively against each other. Now, years ago, I spotted that the market moved and you could effectively buy and sell. So I've been buying and selling stuff my whole life. So I was spotting that sports teams were moving up and down in price. So, for example, you're close to Denver. That's your nearest NFL team. If Denver Broncos are playing the New England Patriots, and what Betfair does is it's a betting exchange. So it has odds for those teams to win. So I would get the information on Denver to see if they were going to score the first touchdown and if Patriots were going to concede that first touchdown. Now, I would then back Denver, say they're going to win. Denver's price would drop once they've got that first touchdown. I would sell my trade and I would make a guaranteed profit no matter what would happen if the match went that way. So I started teaching people how to do this on the exchanges. And then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I built this. I basically put my brain that was doing all these calculations with spreadsheets and data into algorithms and all this kind of stuff. And we built out this software solution. And then I had amazing team members come in and then build on the software and build on the software. So people pay me to have access to my stat software and have access to me to help them be a better trader. So it teaches people how to trade better. And then that works really nicely because it's a membership website. I've had membership websites for 10 years. So I can use things in that membership website to see if they're going to work. I can test them, and if they work, then I put them into my other business, which is the Membership Mastery. So the Membership Mastery teaches course creators, bloggers, coaches, Instamoms, Instadads, anybody who wants a recurring revenue model. So it teaches you how to build, launch, and scale a membership. So very, very easily, I break it down into the build, launch, and scale because they're the steps that you're at. So if you are sort of thinking about wanting to build a recurring revenue, or you're a coach and you're sick of the up and down of pitching for work, getting a piece of work, not getting the work. And you go, maybe I want to do a membership. Then you start learning about building a membership. And then once you've learned that, you launch a membership, and then you scale a membership. And I help you along every step of that way.
That's really cool. I've tried, especially when I first started I wanted to build a business for most of my life, but the past couple of months I've had like really hardcore just been trying to build something. So I went through a lot of courses or tried to search different courses, but I haven't really found any that are like this. So that's really awesome that you found kind of your own niche and are working with your own skills and your strengths to help people create a recurring income. That's really awesome that you do that. So that's amazing. So final question. I always ask all these amazing, successful business leaders, what would be your advice you'd either give to yourself or to other people who are just really struggling at this point with their entrepreneurship journey or just want to start? What advice would you give them, from what your experience that you've learned through most of your life, pretty much?
Yes, I knew you was going to end with a good question. So what advice would I give? So I would say that I've realized that life is 30% events and 70% how you handle them. And that's across the board. That's business, that's relationships, that's life, that's absolutely everything. So if you're struggling with something, it's actually a smaller part of your life and an issue than you actually realize. The 70% is how you handle that. So if you let that event ruin your day, your week, your month, and your year, I sound like I'm singing the Friends song there, don't I? It's like that just came out. Then it really will. It really will. It will hold you back. It will stop you building that business that you really want to build. It will stop you having that relationship that you really want. So I would just say, just if you are struggling with an event that's happening in life, remember that you are in control of what happens next. So if you are struggling, we've got this amazing internet that you can just reach out to people like yourself, like me, and just say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Please, can you help me? Guess what? You're going to get help. And then it will just seem easier. It will be easier because people are experienced in very different things. You can find people in whatever you're struggling with. They will help you and you will move on past that. You'll become a stronger person and then you'll just keep going and going and going. And I guarantee if you just take one thing that you're struggling with and you find someone to help you, it will be a lot easier and not as painful as you actually thought. And then that will give you momentum. And momentum is the best thing in the world. It just keeps building and building and building. But all it takes is for you to start. And that's probably my best piece of advice I can give.
That's amazing. I think we could just end right there. That was perfect. And pretty much throughout this whole episode, you've been giving advice back and forth. So I think just this provides so much value for people who are watching. And I hope anyone who's watching or listening just takes this advice from you, takes your energy, listen to it a couple of times, and just take that action. Just do something that you're afraid to do today and go out and just change the world. So thank you, Ryan. That was amazing. I loved getting to know you. And if anyone who wants to get to know Ryan anymore or interested in what he's providing, his information is down below. And then as you guys know, that my ebook is now live and I have a special offer coming in the next couple of days as well. So that's all that information is down below. Ryan, again, thank you so much for giving me your time.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.